Have you ever watched wealthy people travel and thought, wow, if I had that kind of money, I'd do everything right? Well, here's the secret nobody admits. Rich people actually make some of the worst travel mistakes imaginable. And the crazy part? These mistakes don't just waste money, they ruin experiences, damage reputations, and sometimes even put them in danger. So today, we're breaking down the biggest and most surprising travel mistakes rich people make. And more importantly, how you can avoid them whether you're traveling on a budget or you're planning to be rich in the future. Let's start with something you've definitely seen before: the luxury overload. When some wealthy travelers plan a trip, it turns into a competition. How expensive can they make it? They stack 5-star hotels, private drivers, fancy dinners, designer shopping, VIP lounges, and exclusive tours. But here's the twist: they end up not experiencing the actual destination. Imagine flying all the way to Morocco and spending the entire time inside a luxury hotel that looks exactly like the one in Dubai, Singapore, or New York. Rich travelers often recreate their comfort zone instead of exploring something new. The mistake? They confuse luxury with experience. Don't do that. You miss the soul of a place when you wrap your trip in a bubble of sameness. Another huge mistake rich travelers make is overplanning. With so much money, they hire travel planners, personal assistants, or high-end tour companies that schedule every minute of the day. Breakfast at 8 o'clock, museum tour at 10 o'clock, yacht at noon, private chef at 7, a perfectly curated Instagram-friendly itinerary. But the best travel memories don't come from schedules, they come from the unexpected. A random street vendor, a spontaneous detour, a local festival nobody planned for. Rich travelers often miss that magic because everything becomes a checklist. It's like traveling through a brochure instead of a living, breathing world. The lesson? Leave space for the unknown. Here's another one: treating locals like service staff instead of people. This doesn't apply to all rich travelers, of course, but you've probably seen the type, the ones who snap their fingers at waiters, assume every local is desperate for a tip, or talk loudly like the world revolves around them. Wealth can sometimes create a sense of superiority, and in travel that becomes a major mistake. Locals remember how you treat them. A respectful conversation can lead to real friendships, insider recommendations, or once-in-a-lifetime experiences money could never buy. Meanwhile, a rude attitude gets you generic treatment, tourist traps, and eye rolls behind your back. Respect always takes you further than money ever will. Here's a sneaky mistake many wealthy travelers make without realizing it: traveling with too much stuff. Because they can afford designer luggage, 20 outfits, and 5 types of skincare products, they bring everything. But overpacking becomes a burden: more check-ins, more waiting, more stress about losing things, more bags to carry, and more anxiety about what gets stolen or damaged. The irony: the wealthiest, most experienced travelers often pack the lightest. Simplicity isn't just elegant, it's freeing. When you travel light, you move faster, think less, and enjoy more. A big mistake rich people make while traveling is choosing destinations based on social media trends rather than personal interests. The Maldives becomes a must-do honeymoon, Dubai becomes a luxury requirement, Paris becomes a status symbol. But when you travel to impress, not to enjoy, you end up bored, disconnected, or disappointed. Some wealthy travelers fly to Iceland because everyone's posting about it, but they hate cold weather. Others go on safaris even though they don't like wildlife. Some go to Japan for the aesthetics, but have zero interest in the culture. Money should give you freedom, but following trends blindly turns freedom into pressure. Choose places that speak to you, not your Instagram feed. Let's talk about safety, because rich people often assume money protects them. Actually, it sometimes makes them even bigger targets. Flashing expensive watches, designer bags, or luxury jewelry in unfamiliar cities screams, "Rob me." Wealthy travelers often underestimate scams or assume high-end areas are safe. They think private drivers, VIP entrances, and luxury hotels shield them from everything. But criminals study wealthy tourists. They know where they stay, where they eat, and what they carry. The mistake is forgetting that awareness and humility keep you safe, not money. Blending in is often smarter than standing out. One of the most expensive mistakes rich people make is ignoring the local culture because they're above it. They eat international food instead of local dishes. They shop at global luxury brands instead of local markets. And they stick to tourist neighborhoods instead of exploring authentically. As a result, their entire trip becomes a copy-paste experience of every other trip they've ever taken. You don't learn anything. You don't grow. You just move your bubble to another part of the world. The beauty of travel is understanding how differently people live, eat, think, love, and celebrate. If you skip that, you lose the point of traveling. Now, here's a weird but common mistake: trying to buy an experience instead of earning it. Wealthy travelers sometimes assume that paying more gets them better memories, but some experiences can't be purchased. You can't buy the thrill of hiking a mountain if someone carries your backpack. You can't buy the challenge of navigating a foreign subway system if a guide escorts you everywhere. You can't buy the feeling of getting lost in a city and discovering something magical. Money makes travel easier, but sometimes too easy. Struggle, effort, and curiosity create richer stories than any luxury package ever could. Subtle mistake wealthy travelers make is traveling too fast. Because they can afford it, they might hop from city to city, country to country, hotel to hotel, all in one vacation. One day Rome, next day London, next day Zurich, next day Dubai. It feels productive, but it's actually the travel version of binge watching without understanding the plot. You collect photos instead of memories. You can't remember what food you ate or which city had which landmark. Slowing down makes travel meaningful. Even the richest people can't buy time, but they sure can waste it. Another surprising mistake rich travelers make is assuming money replaces research. Some wealthy people don't read reviews, don't study customs, don't check weather patterns, don't look up transportation tips, and don't learn even basic phrases in the local language. They assume that because they're paying top dollar, everything will be perfect. But that's how you get scammed by overpriced guides, fall for tourist traps, overpay for taxes, book hotels in the wrong neighborhoods, or miss out on hidden gems. Research is free. Stupidity is expensive. Money doesn't protect you from bad decisions. Let's talk about something emotional: traveling with the wrong people. Wealthy individuals often invite friends, relatives, or business partners to come along, assuming everyone will enjoy the trip equally. Wrong. A luxury vacation with people who don't share your mindset can turn into a nightmare. Some people may expect you to pay for everything. Others may complain constantly. Some might want to party while you want to explore. Some might resent your wealth and act passive-aggressive the whole time. The richer you are, the more careful you must be about who you travel with. A great travel partner is priceless. A bad one can ruin even the most luxurious trip. Another mistake: ignoring the simple joys. You'd be surprised how many rich travelers skip street food, avoid public beaches, ignore free attractions, and refuse any experience that isn't premium. But some of the world's best travel moments are free. Watching a sunset, walking through an old neighborhood, listening to street music, people watching in a cafe, talking to locals, or wandering without a plan. Wealthy travelers often chase the rarest and most exclusive activities while forgetting that beauty isn't always expensive. Sometimes, the cheapest moment becomes the most unforgettable. Here's a big one: letting money create distance instead of connection. Luxury travel often isolates wealthy travelers. They stay in gated resorts, ride private transfers, eat in fine dining restaurants, and take exclusive tours. They never interact with regular people. But travel is supposed to connect you with the world. If you're separated from the real culture, real community, and real life of a place, you're not truly traveling, you're relocating your lifestyle temporarily. The more expensive the trip, the harder it becomes to stay grounded. The trick is to balance comfort with curiosity. And here's the final, most common mistake rich people make: forgetting to enjoy the moment. When you're used to having everything, you sometimes stop appreciating anything. A 5-star breakfast becomes just okay. A beautiful view becomes normal. A unique experience becomes fine. That's the danger of excess. You start losing the ability to feel wonder. But travel is about wonder. It's about seeing something new and letting it change you. No amount of money should ever take that away. So, what's the takeaway? Rich people don't travel wrong because they're rich. They travel wrong because they forget the purpose of travel. The world is not a showroom. It's not a backdrop for photos. It's not a checklist. It's a living, breathing adventure meant to be felt, tasted, and explored. Whether you have a big budget or a small one, travel becomes richer when you stay humble, curious, and open to the unknown. If you want more content like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's the biggest travel mistake you've ever seen?